In this video, we're going to talk about your production. When you're putting your music out, one of the things you need to be most focused on is the quality of the production. It must be able to play right along the hit records that are already being played. Now, you don't have to sound just like those records because, as I said, it's great to be original. However, sonically and production-wise, the music has to be up to par. And there's nobody better to have talk about great, powerful production than DJ Paul, who's one half of 3 6 Mafia, who's an Academy Award-winning artist, mega platinum producer, and has also been part of many Grammy-nominated, Grammy-winning projects. I mean, even recently, you've been a part of projects with Drake, Cardi B, A$AP Ferg, G-Eazy. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. You're not stopping.
I'm not stopping, man.
And the reason why you're not stopping
and
the reason why people still sample you and still want to use your production is because it's powerful production, right?
There you go, powerful production.
Get familiar.
I thought I came over here for the pool party, though, man.
No, we're here to get people familiar with powerful production, DJ Paul.
Can we get in the pool after that?
Afterwards, let's focus.
All right, let's go.
So, what we want to talk about now is powerful production. You came up as a producer, producing for your group 3 6 Mafia. Now, can you give tips to a producer right now of what they can do to stand out being a producer and to get artists to want to work with them?
Man, that's a good question because producers get so confused. The main problem with producers is trying to have that hot sound, what's working in the clubs, but without trying to sound like somebody else. So what I always do, because I've made this mistake in the past when I was younger, stick to what you know. Creating your own sound is always best, and sticking to that. And if it's dope, people will eventually make their way to it. But trying to sound like somebody else, you might win like that for the moment. You might get a hot song like that, you know, like, say for instance, if you take Lil Jon, yeah, you know, you remember Lil Jon was killing them with them horn synthesized for a while. So for instance, you make a song with that sound, and then it pop on the radio because it mixed good with it, this and that. But at the same time, okay, what are you going to do after that? You going to keep doing what you see Lil Jon doing?
Keep chasing the sound.
Keep chasing the sound. Like, you got to create your own sound. When you create your own sound, you are the one being chased, not doing the chasing.
Right.
And then you can do what you want to do with it. And since you're original, you're going to live longer.
Right.
Because you got something that's yours, not something that you stole from somebody else or trying to be like somebody else. So the most important thing is just being original, man. Just trying to find your own original sound.
Right, and being original helps you be great, and great prevails.
Yeah,
correct.
You gotta be. And anything you're doing, I don't care if you're making shoes or you're a goddamn Uber driver. Like, if you could just put your own twist to it, that's what it's all about, man, because that's the only way you're going to be a king.
Right.
You can't be a king if you copying another king.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you kill him and then...
At his own sound.
His own sound.
Put him out of business.
Yeah.
So now, once you become a producer and you start trying to develop your own sound, and you're like, oh, this is killer, this is what I want to own, I want people to recognize me for this sound. What is the best way as a producer? Because you had your own original sound. So what was the best way, or is the best way, for someone to now go convince a new artist or artists that are already cracking? How do I convince them, like, hey, I know you're doing this, but check out this new sound I'm doing. You should get familiar with this.
You know, there's numerous ways out there. To be honest with you, there's so many ways these days with social media that I haven't even figured them all out. But I'll tell you what I did, and probably what you did, and a lot of guys do, is being a DJ. Being a DJ helps, because what I did when I was DJing or making mixtapes between, you know, NWA and LL Cool J and this and that, I slid in one of my records.
Right.
I slid in one of my records, and, you know, they kept dancing because the beat was good, and blah, blah, blah. Then, and anytime I saw it falling off, I just threw in a hot record right behind it. So when you're a DJ, you can test the records out and see what it is. Now, if you're not a DJ and you're just a producer out there, I would say the best way is just, you know, getting to other artists that you can get to do it. Getting to artists ain't always that easy.
Right.
But
and I think people get trapped in that they have to get to big time artists
and
neglect the fact that there's local artists that you guys did, you made your music for artists around your way,
Yeah,
right?
local
And they
artists.
weren't cracking yet.
Yeah.
Your production helped make it cracking.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get stuck in, they need their music to go to big artists so that they can pop off, rather than finding local artists that they can pop those local off. Like look at a DJ Mustard.
Yeah.
You know, him and Ty Dolla $ign, those guys, they were all working together for years. And they created their own sound, and then it ended up popping off, right?
Yeah.
So do you recommend that, you know, one of the things you just said is that not chasing a sound, and the other thing is there's more than one way to get to success. It's not like, I got to do it this way, maybe I can become a DJ, maybe I can do this. So that's another tip that I want you to take from what Paul just said that I also speak about in the book. But as I was saying, finding somebody local, artist local, you should just be producing for everybody instead of holding on to those beats like, oh man, I want to wait for the right person to give this beat to.
Yeah.
Now, have you been victim of that yourself?
Waiting for the right person? No. And I've had some situations where I almost did that. But the reason why you can't do that is because the sound changed too fast.
Right.
Like back in the day, you know, back in our days, it was cool because, you know, how often did LL Cool J or one of these guys bring out an album? You know,
Right.
it probably was years or something. But now, you know, these guys bringing out new songs every day because you got social media. We can go in your house right now and cut a whole album and put the whole thing out in 5 minutes.
Right.
So you don't want to sit on a sound. I would say, going from what you was just saying, I would say hang out at spots where other artists are at, wherever that may be,
Right.
and find somebody with the same hunger as you.
Right.
You can't find a lazy artist, because believe me, before 3 6 Mafia, I had a lot of those.
Right.
You can't find no lazy artist. You got to find that one guy that's just a straight poet. He don't have nobody producing him, but he got the same hunger as you. And I guarantee you, if y'all two get together, y'all going to be a problem, because for one, he got something that he want people to hear, but he just don't have a way to put it out there. You already got the equipment because you're making the beats.
Right.
So, you know, y'all just get a mic, $20 mic or whatever, and start laying some vocals over that, man, and get that out there. And it'll happen eventually, because it's
Right.
going to be dope.
Right.
You know, it's all about the hunger, man. You gotta always stay hungry. I ate on the way to your house, and I'm back hungry right now.
And then I gave you some candy when you got here.
Yeah, you gave me some candy.
Right.
And I'm gonna get some more candy before I leave your house. But it's all about the hunger, man, because, you know, I meet people all the time, and it's the worst, man. Worst. Like, my fans will tell you, I talk to everybody on my Instagram all the time. I comment everything, like this and that. I talk back. And every time somebody, not every time, but if I see it and somebody be like, Paul, check out my music, go to my page. Would you believe, like, maybe, I would say, realistically, probably 40% of these guys, when I go to their page be blocked. Blocked, bro.
Right.
Blocked.
I talk about this in the book. I say, if you're going to send me somewhere to hear your music, make sure it's right there so I can hear it.
One dude had the nerve to tell me this the other day, man. He probably watching this. He said, man, they trying to keep me away from you, man. He blamed it on Instagram.
But what was the real problem?
His page was blocked. He's like, every time I try to get to you, man, they try to keep me away from you. He thought it was like, I don't know if he thought it was the CIA or whatever he thought it was.
I talked to people in this course about reaching out to people and not feeling like, oh, they're too big, they're not going to respond. So right now you're saying you actually respond to people on Instagram.
I talk to everybody on my Instagram. My fans know, everybody that follow me. Like, if somebody go on my Instagram right now, it happened a couple of times. They'll be like, oh, here we go, another celebrity don't respond to people, because it probably had been 30 minutes or something. I said, everybody was on there like, man, you crazy. DJ Paul's the only celebrity that respond to people.
So, but if a producer reached out to you or an artist reached out to you to try to get production from you, is there a possibility that connection can happen?
Yeah, it can happen. It has happened. It happened last night with a guy from Miami.
Yeah.
So, you know, it happens. I don't mess with everybody, but, you know, if they dope, you know, I'll mess with them on something.
What's the best advice you would give to a producer that's trying to get in touch with, say, another producer like yourself or an artist that is on a bigger level than they are? How can they stand out and make that person pay attention to them?
Man, that's the hard part, man, because, you know, everybody ain't like me on social media, so, you know, everybody don't reach out, you know. But I would say it's always good to keep a thumbstick with you. And this the most important part, people, please. Because one day I tweeted out on Instagram a distinctive shaped thumbstick that somebody gave me a long time ago, and it had some fire on it. And I posted it. I was like, who thumbstick is this? Because there's some fire on here. I don't even know what it is. So when you make this thumbstick, you got to put a text on there. You know, you got to put your info on there. Like, it's a way that you can go in there, you can make a folder that have typed out text. This is my email, this my that, this my that. I was just on vacation in Miami, and a guy gave me a thumbstick. And I'm actually going to call this guy because it was really dope. It was his company thumbstick. Right. It was the thumbstick that he was playing the music on this little tour that I went on. Yeah. And it still got the company name on there, you know, the name of this tour that I was on. And I listened to it, and I'm going to tell you the funny part about it is I looked in my pocket. I just needed a thumbstick to put my own song on in the studio.
Right. He gave you something of value that was useful for you.
Yeah, so I'm riding, listening to my own song, and after that, his song came on.
Right.
And I thought I was listening to the radio, so I'm like, damn, this shit dope. And I looked, and there was still a thumbstick playing. I'm like, this dude is bumping his ass off.
See, now, I hope you guys are paying attention and really understanding what Paul's saying. It just goes along with what I've been trying to tell you, is that there's many ways to get at people, and there's really effective ways of getting at people. As you can see, in this story, the guy was smart enough to give him a thumb drive with his own music on it and his contact on it. At one point, Paul needed a thumb drive to put something on it, found this thumb drive, grabbed it, played his stuff, and then the guy's song played right afterwards, which then made Paul get interested in him because he heard the music. So you can see that was a very innovative way to try to get at a big producer that you wanted to work with this other producer. So it worked.
Producers don't turn down thumbsticks because they always need thumbsticks because they lose them so much.
Right.
Rappers lose thumbsticks all the time. So this is the part that you got to be worried about. Like, when you giving a rapper, say for instance, you go like, Migos got a concert or whatever, and you be like, I know at some point at the meet and greet or something, I'm going to get a chance to hand this to him. I'm going to get a chance to throw it to him before you get on the tour bus or something. They're going to take that thumbstick. Only problem is, depending, somebody, they might lose them because it's easy to lose a thumbstick.
Just keep showing up at every concert and throwing thumbs every time.
So, don't put your whole thing on there, man. Put 2 or 3 dope ones on there. Don't put 20, 30 beats on there. Put 2 or 3 dope ones on there that you ain't going to cry if you lose them, and put your tag all the way through it.
Right.
I'm talking about every bar, put your tag all the way through it because if it's dope, they'll call you. Don't have it up so loud. Have it like medium volume. But put your tag every bar throughout that beat.
Or every 4 bars. Every bar might be too much.
I don't know.
Every bar might be a little too much, man.
You can't leave too much.
I can't even come up with a song of this beat. I hear this guy's name too many times.
Man, I can hear it. All they need to hear is the overall gist of it. And if they got a good ear for music, they'll know what's going on. Because if you leave anything open, they'll steal it.
So I'm glad you touched on that because that's one thing I wanted to say to producers too. Like, what is the best way when they do get in touch with somebody and someone says, hey, send me a pack, send me a file, send me a folder
Don't send
of music.
no files.
But no, I don't mean of the session. I mean, send me a bunch of beats. What is the best way to protect themselves, but also to not overwhelm an artist? Now, say you as the artist, I'm a producer, and you're like, yeah, send me some beats. Like, how many beats should I send you? How many is too many beats? How many times should I put my name over the beats where I'm not annoying you, but you can still catch the vibe? Like, what do you suggest a producer
Okay, well,
doing
if he reached out to you, then he probably want to use the beat at that point. So you just put your tag just at the beginning at that point. At the beginning, you can throw another one at the end. But throw your tag at the beginning, and that's it, and leave the rest of it open if he reach out to you. And he a real artist, not if he just some whatever kid. But if a real artist, say Offset, reach out to you or whatever, he like, I like this beat, send me this beat. Send a 2-track of the beat with your tag at the beginning, give him room to vibe and write to it. And if he make a song that he like to it, and the label and everybody agree to it, and y'all figure out some paperwork, then, you get your money, you send the files.
Right.
So, don't send the files until you got the paperwork done. When, whatever artist, just using him as an example. But whatever artist it is, once you get the paperwork done, then you send the files. Don't send the files until the paperwork is done because, you never know what's going to happen. Like, the artist may really like it, but the label might be like, I'm not feeling this. The manager might be like, I'm not feeling this. It's not a radio song, this and that. It's a cool mixtape song or this and that. And they just want to use it for a mixtape. All they need is your 2-track and, y'all work out whatever y'all want to work out for that. Like, maybe you want to put the tag back in there a couple of more times.
Now, speaking of mixtapes, what if you're a producer and you send you a beat or 3 or 4 beats, or you send a Yo Gotti, or you send a Lil Baby, or you send somebody beats, right? And they just use it and put it on a mixtape. How do you handle that as a producer? You don't really have any contacts. You don't really have any strength to get behind it. You don't know who to reach out to at the label to say, hey man, you guys are using my beat. Now, should a producer just be excited about that and use that to promote their name? Or how should a new producer, handle somebody using their beat on a mixtape without getting permission?
Well, you know, before you send your music out, you need to have your music copywritten, obviously. So it's on them how they want to go about it. You know, it's up to them how they want to go about it at that point. Like, they could look at it like, you know, I love it, I'm happy, it's good promotion. Or they could look at it like, you know, they need to get a little bread off of it. Maybe they need to reach out to them, because at some point, even if it's on a mixtape, they making some money off of it somewhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Even doing shows with it.
Yeah.
And that's where your team comes into play, where you got to reach out to your attorney or your manager to handle that stuff for you. So that's really all I wanted to talk about producers. Is there anything that you would give advice to any up-and-coming producers that you wish you had when you were coming up?
I think we probably hit on it. The most important thing I would say is just finding your style and just sticking with it, man, and not giving up on it. You know, obviously you can tweak it. You're gonna have to tweak it as time goes by.
Right.
You know, people are probably using a different this or that, and technology changing, and you can update it a little bit. But for more, it's just really, to me, it's about just sticking with that, with what you believe in.
Right.
You know, not trying to chase what's going on.
And as a producer, do you have a setup recommendation for a home producer that's at home trying to make beats? What's an inexpensive way for them to set up so they can start producing their own records?
Man, so many cheap setups these days. Obviously, you got to have a computer.
Yep.
You got to have your computer, a couple of good speakers, and then, you know, if you're going to be doing it inside the laptop, that's one thing. If you're going to be doing it out physically, you know, whatever, you can get a MIDI controller. You don't even need drum machines these days. MIDI controller, a little MIDI keyboard. Yep. That's it. I'll just say a MIDI controller, a MIDI keyboard. They got them for $50 these days.
Right.
Set of speakers and
or headphones.
Some headphones,
Yep.
or headphones, and that's it.
And last question I want to ask for producers that are trying to get their music heard. You know, a lot of times a producer will get the opportunity to send music to an A&R or to somebody, and they may get overzealous and say, I'm going to send my 30 best beats, right?
Yeah.
What do you recommend in that situation?
Man, 5 beats.
Your 5 best beats.
5 beats. I did a lot of production for 2 Chainz, and he told me, I was over 2 Chainz' house one day, and he was like, he was doing a beat. He was doing a song over a beat that we sent him, and it was like 2 years ago. The beat I was sent to him 2 years ago, but this was like, you know, recently when he was doing it. I'm like, damn, bro, like, how you found it? He was like, I just was kind of looking through them, and I just picked the one that the title stuck out to me.
Right.
What I named the beat,
Right.
or what, you know, me and my artist T.Y. named the beat. And he was like, you know, I ain't gonna even lie, Paul, when you be sending like 20, 30 beats, man, I don't listen to all those beats.
Yeah.
I just skimmed through it. I looked at the title that I liked, and I just told my engineer to pull up that one.
Yeah.
He said, all you need to do is just send me like 4 or 5 beats. And he was like, don't email them, text them.
Yeah, he said the same to me. So the tip to take from this is don't overwhelm people with beats. Send your 4 or 5 best beats. And then another tactic is titling the beats in a clever title that may stand out and make somebody say, oh, man, this title's dope.
Yeah.
I might even name the song this because the beat's called that.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Like, look at the artists, see what they like. Like, one day, we was making a beat for Riff Raff, and you know, anybody know Riff Raff, you know, he like, I'm the tangerine, purple, vegan monster, blah, blah, blah. And we named the beat like some crazy shit like the purple Xanax Frisbee Volkswagen, some shit. He went straight to it.
So thanks for that. So this is about powerful production for producers. Next video, we're going to talk about powerful production as an artist and what you need to make sure your music sounds like to stand out for people to get familiar with you and your music.